All right. It is 9:40 p.m. And we're going to get the stream going now. So I'm going to wait till a few people get on here, and then we'll start going after Nola McLean a little bit, who was great again tonight. 8 innings in his third career start versus the Phillies. Looked like he was going to go the whole way. When I tuned in, he was at 58 pitches in the 7th inning. So he got off to a hell of a start in that one. All right, let's see if we have anybody here yet. Nope. Just me hanging out by myself. All right. Oh, and my wife. Hello, wife. Love you.
Love you.
Yes, well, I'm definitely not alone, but alone on the internet at the moment. All right, well, I'm not going to jump into all of that. I'm just going to putz around on the iPad for a little bit until somebody shows up, and then we will start talking about Nola McLean and watch some of this game because I really didn't catch much of it. I only caught really the last little bit there. But, I mean, he's a good story. The Mets are rolling all of a sudden, so there's that. Anyway, where are we in the standings? Some of these teams have already played. There's no point in looking at that. Let's just go look at what the scores are right now. Boston 3-2. I saw the end of that. Rafaela hit a big homer. Seattle. That's Brian Wu. Atlanta, Miami. I don't know if that mattered. Cleveland. I think that was a pretty fun ending. Yankees crushed. Good game right now. Cincinnati and Dodgers. Couple other decent games. 1-0 game in Houston, actually. That's Dolander and Framber, I believe. See now. A couple people on. We'll wait for a few more. Yes, I'm not alone anymore. What's up, Mitch?
Oh my god, I've been here the whole time.
Well, besides you, Brett, obviously. While I'm here, I'm going to go look at the pitch 3D for Nola McLean as I get ready to take a look at this start. All right, first, let's look at first righties. And pitch type for sinker. It's pretty nasty. So everything to the arm side on the sinker. Let's see the sweeper. It's very nice. Very, very nice. And then we got curveball. This pitch is crazy. Mucho break. Mucho break. Okay. You guys are funny. All right. Also, there was some change-ups I want to say in here. Can I see where you threw your change-up, mister? Well, that's the greens. Okay. All right, so let's just get into it. Let's just get into it. Nola McLean. Now I'm going to go back to player breakdown. So we just have that loaded up for later. All right, Nola McLean versus the Phillies. Let's rock and roll. Mets and Philadelphia from Nueva York, and old friend Taijuan Walker on the mound for the Phillies in this game. Anyway, Nola McLean, he's the guy. He is the guy. Yep, give the people what they want. All right, here we go. Trey Turner. Let's get it rolling. You know, might as well watch all the pitches here.
Trey Turner leads off McLean's first
because there's not a lot of them, so I gotta see how he gets these quick outs. All right, sinker in.
41
Sweeper off that.
been put in play against McLean.
Banger. He's got CB behind the plate.
And he's 0-2.
Brooklyn Bonnie.
Turner 2 for 10 in the series.
Alum.
And he's waves and misses at a sweeper in the plate.
3 pitches. This is wicked.
2, not good.
Turner 2 for 10 in the series. And he's waves
Oh my
and
God.
misses at
Again, the reason why it looks like that and why it is like that is just this. This ball is spinning like a blurry, like a dreidel at Hanukkah. Just. You like that one?
I did.
Anyway, that's literally what it's like. This thing is spinning like
2, not
crazy,
good.
and so it looks like it
Turner
just
2 for
catches
10 in the series.
and then
he's
yanks
waves
left.
and
I mean,
misses at a
damn.
sweeper in the plate.
That's a serious sweeper. 3107 RPM at 88 too, so it's also fast. It's one of the best breaking balls in the league. That's not even his best breaking ball. His best breaking ball is a curveball. All right, so that's the first batter. That was nasty. And now he gets Schwarber. Mind you, this is the first taste of the rivalry he gets, and make no mistake about it, there is a rivalry with the Phillies,
Get out of town before Schwarber finds his
with
stroke.
the Metros. It's a natural rivalry. Wow, okay, that cutter got over the barrel. Interesting, because it doesn't have a ton of vert on it, 6.5. Schwarber a little scoopy on that swing, but it's also a hell of a location. Hard to throw. It's a very good location. Dangerous, risky. Took some cojones, honestly, because to miss in that spot is tough. But hey, let's look at the cutter. He only threw a few at those, but you know the location was really, really nice. Zane Martinez, what do you think of the Mets calling up Jonah Tong? I'll answer that as we continue to watch. I'm excited for it, man. His numbers are crazy. He's got like 40% strikeout rate in the minors this year. Anytime people try to compare a guy to Tim Lincecum, it catches my attention because big time Timmy Jim was a good friend of mine, and we played together in Cape Cod League, and he's a one of one. So obviously Jonah Tong is not Tim Lincecum, but the fact that they're comparing him to a one of one is exciting. So I'm excited to watch that start, and I'll definitely have a video for that. Probably Friday night. Friday night. Probably during his game, I'll start breaking it down. So there's a backdoor sweeper. Bryce hits this ball pretty good. Does not get rewarded. 100.3 at 27 to left. He thinks he thinks he did enough. This is a good swing by a great player. This pitch is super nasty, but it's middle. Down away, but tries to drive it the other way. Okay, timeout. Let's see. Let's see for a second if that was what it says about that. It says it's a 560 expected batting average, home run in 6 of 30 parks. Okay, split the difference. It's kind of whatever. All right. He thought he got it, though. So we go to the second. JT. Sinker's definitely going to be in. The middle target, allowing it to run in. So they also have Brady Sanger behind the plate tonight, so he worked with him in AAA. So there's a comfort factor there with Alvarez being out. Another sinker. I like sinker to JT. He's got a pretty flat swing. This is also disgusting metrically. 21 inches of H break, 21 to the right, and 1.2 vert VB, which is like crazy sink. This is a much better sinker than he showed in the first 2 starts. First 2 starts, he actually didn't have a lot of HB. He was throwing it like 14s. This is 20. This is 21. Actually, this is much bigger. So now I'm wondering if the Citi Field wind was there tonight. But we'll watch and we'll see. But yeah, chops it over. Vientos. Pretty nice play. All right, Bohm. Bohm's going to get a hit here. Sinker probably in. So he's starting every righty sinker in.
They're everywhere.
First time through.
Like jellyfish.
That's a ball. And then usually sweeper right off of it. So mixes and matches the 2 pitches with the most horizontal break each direction, back to back. So extreme opposites. And then he just reads from there. Here's a sweeper again.
But either way,
I mean, not a good pitch, but it's so big that Bohm takes it, thinking it's way in. Hard to see from this camera angle, but this locks
But either
Bohm up,
way,
and because it's so good, it
Alec
sneaks back to the
Bohm
corner.
certainly
Actually, a really good call by CB. He didn't give up on that pitch.
do
And
that
he's going to
for you.
get,
Yep.
actually, he's
Bohm's
going to
got
get a hit
9-game
here as
hitting
he
streak,
triples
and he
up on the
hits one
sweeper.
sharply, and it eats up Beatty.
Really good
Goes into
swing.
center field
Kind of eats up
for a
Beatty.
base hit.
As my old man would
Timed
say,
that
you know, you got to
sweeper
do a
well,
little
hit it hard. Bohm's
Randy
got the
Velarde
first hit
right
of the
there and
game
just
at
throw
Bohm.
your chest in front of that ball, knock it down, throw him out at first. Guess that's easier said than done. Hold on, real quick in the chat. Let's see. Yeah, 99th percentile spin. That's what we're seeing. Thanks, Keem. Appreciate you, man. Schwarbs and Real Muto were 0 for the series. Tough to win with those two cold. True. Tim was the favorite pitcher. Didn't even get to see him in his prime. Special. The freak. 1 of 1. Like I said, he's a 1 of 1. Wind had to be hurting a little bit. Hurling. How does vert work? Okay, we can pause for a second to talk about that. Vertical break. This is important to know, so I'll just put myself in there. All right. Just so we can see the movement chart. All right, so this is the movement chart. Now I can't draw on it with my pencil in this mode, unfortunately. So you're just gonna have to bear with my descriptions. You see, like, there's like a cross here, right, and a bullseye. The line that goes from left to right basically signifies whether a pitch has positive vertical movement, like relative to gravity. So it strips gravity out of the equation, and it's all just about what the spin you put on the ball and what the seams orienting with the air do to make the pitch move. And this just measures those effects on each of your pitch types, whether it's a 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, slider, changeup, curveball, etc. Now, the line that goes from north to south, everything on the right side of that line is breaking to the right, and everything on the left side of that line is breaking to the left when you're the pitcher looking at the catcher. So so the bullseye's the catcher's mitt. We're looking downrange at the catcher. We're on the mound here. All our pitches that move to the left will be represented left of the north-south line. All the pitches that move to the right will be represented on the right of the north-south line. So in this case, my 4-seam and my sinker, which is the red dots and the orange dots, move to the arm side to my right, and the sweeper and the cutter moved to the left, or my glove side. In terms of when I'm talking about vertical break a lot of the time, really it's the scale between 20 is like the high end of vertical break. You'll only find that on 4-seam fastballs. And the low end would be like -20, which you might find on a curveball. The interesting thing about this, though, is like a lot of times I think in a rule of 8, any representative with the number 8 is kind of like what the human will perceive to be straight. So it's like if you throw a 4-seam and it has 8 vertical break, that looks like nothing, but it doesn't look like sink either. It just looks like flat as a pancake. So anything below 8 looks like it has some drop to it, and anything below 0 really looks like it has some drop to it. All right? And it works the same way horizontally. So like a fastball that moves arm side 8 looks pinned straight to the hitter, and anything less than that appears to have a little bit of cut to the hitter, and as it approaches 0, it'll look like it has a lot of cut to the hitter and beyond 0. So that's the quick primer on that. I hope that helped. We got to get back to Nola McLean, though. So let me hop back into the app. All right, so he ends up giving up a hit on this to Bohm. It's the 3rd slider in a row. He leaks it down the middle, hits the crap out of this. I kid about squaring up this ball for Beatty. This ball's rocketed, you know? All right, my app is being weird for a second. I can rewatch that hit.
Do that for you. Yep. Bohm's got a 9-game hitting streak, and he hits one sharply, and it eats up
Just,
Beatty.
it's an in-between hop, and it's an impossible play
For a base hit.
unless you stick your body in front of it, and, you know, that's a business decision sometimes. All right, Max Kepler, and then he gets a first pitch double play. This is another cutter. Let's see where he locates it for this. Up in target, gets it there, pulls it right to Pete. Good feed. Really nice play. Really nice play. Now this is a little bit of batted ball luck. He hits this ball really hard, and typically with the guy holding the runner on at first, as you can see here, Pete's hugging the line because he's holding the runner on. And then when the ball goes through this hole, like there's a lot more hole there because normally a first baseman, if he wasn't holding the runner on, might be positioned here, right? So he has a little more range into this hole. So theoretically, pulling a ball is not really a bad idea. The issue is here. You know, the poor guy hit it 104, but right at Pete, and they turned a nice double play. So McLean, excellent execution, though. So good for him. Now Castellanos in the third.
Code red.
So having faced this lineup a lot myself, I can tell you that Castellanos, to me, is like a hitter that he's just seeing the ball, hitting the ball, and he's never really off the fastball. Very hard to get him off the fastball. So my goal in life would be to get him off the fastball. I just throw him so many breaking balls, and hopefully he would get off the fastball at some point. But again, breaking ball here, sweeper, curveball, and they're going to stick with it, curveball again. So I'm not alone in this thinking, but that's the way I approached it. Certain other guys don't, but okay, now he's going to finally go sinker. He's going to go in. I never like to go in. I've given up hits way in off the plate to this guy, like obnoxiously in, like way in here, and the guy like gets a double somehow, and I'm just like, well, what's the point? So I would always try to go back door, but he's going to go in the other way. So yeah, you might have a good advantage on a guy on paper. Oh, that was a great pitch right there. Probably a good take by Castellanos. Good read, but it just didn't quite sink enough. I guess this is still an elite break, though. Jeez. 19.7 and 1.1.
And he takes strike three.
Yeah, he stuck that. That was unreal. All right, hold on. All right, great. I'm glad people like that. All right, so that was a perfect pitch for a strikeout. And now we got Bryson Stott. So now you go right on left. So now you're going to showcase your right on left arsenal. So four seam is the pitch. Instead of leading with the sinker, he leads with the four seam. Then he gets right into his bag. This is another disgusting pitch, negative 3.4, vertical break on a changeup. Like I was just explaining, if you get to negative numbers on vertical break, that's very, very good. Now, a lot of people achieve that with curveballs, but to do it with changeups and sinkers and all sorts of pitches like that sometimes requires a bit of very advanced technique, and clearly he has that. He's a supination bias pitcher, so he's cutting his changeup and creating a seam effect that's making this ball drop to a negative 3.4. That's an excellent talent. You know, it's not a good location, but it doesn't matter. It's a 1-0 changeup for a strike. Beautiful. Now he's going to double up and probably throw a better location. Throws it down the middle again, but this time it's negative vertical break. Somehow he gets a fly ball on it. Doesn't make any sense. What did make sense is Bryson Stott just didn't look very comfortable seeing that pitch. And now my guy Bader, sinker in. So that's the pattern early versus righties is we're going to sinker in. We see some of this SNY Mets broadcast magic that they're so famous for now. Sinker in, sticks it down the middle. Beautiful. That's what you want.
Home run last night.
Now he goes four seam, switches the fastball type. Beautiful. He's got him at his whim here, and now he's going to go right on right changeup just for style points.
And he goes right after him again. Got him with a changeup.
If you're a baiter, you just wipe that at bat away. You saw a sinker, you saw a four seam, you saw a changeup. You probably went up there expecting spin the entire time. You're just like, okay, don't change your approach. Like the next at bat, hopefully he goes back to his plan, because that one, how could you possibly have been ready for that? Grab a ball? I don't have a ball with me, but I appreciate that. Maybe sometime in the future. Okay. Where are we? All right, fourth inning, Trey Turner. Four seam.
Turner takes
All right,
pitch
so first
fastball
at bat, I
for
think he
strike.
started him with a
Nola
sinker.
McLean.
This at bat, he switches it to a four seam. He just throws it right down the middle. That's what you should be doing. And now he's going to go to the sinker
Turner struck out on 3 pitches his
with
first
another
time up,
incredible
and he loses the
amount of
bat.
action on it. D bats him.
0-2.
This tied him up so bad that when he tried to check his swing, it was too
3
late, and he
pitches his
throws
first
his
time
bat.
up, and he loses the bat.
My God, that was nasty. Okay. All right, so he's got him 0-2. Here comes the curveball. Unbelievable curveball.
He fouled it off.
That had ridiculous break. I don't know how he even hit that. He says, I don't believe you. I'm going to throw it again.
0-2 coming to Turner. And he laid off the
Takes it
curveball.
off
He
away.
throws up the
Now comeback sinker. It's wide open. Should be wide open. Nope, they go back in with the sinker.
chopper to
Choose
the
him
right
up.
side. Beatty waits on the long
Back to
hop.
Beatty.
And a close play at first.
Gets Trey, now Schwarber. Waiting for some quick outs because his pitch count was so low. He had to be getting some quick outs.
Here's Kyle Schwarber. Not
First
sure
pitch
how many
changeup.
plate
Gets
appearances
balled
he
on it. That was a
qualified.
strike. Actually, it wasn't a good changeup, so now he fixes it. One pitch adjustment.
And he hits it sharp.
Rolls it over right to
comes up for
Beatty.
2 out.
Hit that ball really hard.
Brett stayed in
Right.
front.
So right at him. And then he's going to get Harper on 4 pitches.
My feet hurt.
Guys on the, so here's in the chat. The boys on the Mets broadcast said 2 years ago this guy was a 2-pitch reliever. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, it just goes to show you the power of the modern pitching tools that exist. Because that's an absolute frozen heater in here. This is a 4-seam, but it's still, look at it run back.
Bryce takes fastball
So
on the
good.
inside.
Now here comes, he's going to try it with a sinker.
McLean. And they're kind of getting
Yeah, super late emergency hack. Incredible ability to swing and still even hit this ball. He swung so late. Look how the angle he hits this at. Yeah, so it just shows like you can learn pitches at a really fast rate if you have really good like feel ability, like ability to connect what you see on video to what you can practice every day. You can learn anything really fast, really fast now. And a guy like Nola McLean, clearly really good at that ability, has an incredible ability to learn things really fast because now I'm seeing 3 plus pitches in his curveball number 1, sweeper number 2, sinker number 3. And then the fastball, I mean, it's got plenty of velocity and he knows when to use it, so it's great. It's not bad by any means. And then the changeup is also trending to be the changeup's also trending to be plus. So I mean, I'm seeing a lot. All right, let's see how late he hits this ball. Not as late as I thought, but I mean, he glances it and almost kills somebody in his own dugout. All right, so now what are you going to throw him? Curveball? This is going to be a super banger, 3,300 RPM, yep.
0-2 coming to Harper. And the curveball struck him out.
God.
Nola
Just play that on a loop for the rest of your life.
0-2 coming to Harper. And the curveball struck him out.
God.
Nola McLean.
Yeah, I mean, guys can come up with much more deep and complete arsenals than before. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but they do have more weapons. But every pitcher has more weapons now. It's really hard for the hitters. They got to cover a lot. You know, these are great hitters facing McLean in this game. And as long as he's strike 1, he is driving the dictating everything, you know, to every one of these hitters. All right, 5th inning. JT. This time he starts him with the sweeper. He went sinker first at bat.
First 4 innings.
And he paints one away. I mean, this is quality first pitch after quality first pitch, and now probably sinker in. So now he goes opposite of his typical sequence. Actually leaves this ball middle. But JT knew he didn't get it. I don't know what you're doing, McNeil, but 98. Off the bat's not going to cut it at Citi Field. Boom. Sinker. Another one. 20 with negative 1.3. Yeah, that was gross. Now four seam. So he's just not going to let you measure one shape of his fastball. All right, 2-0. First time he's been behind, so it's weird.
He was overthrowing in
Oh,
that
I
second
love you.
start, but not tonight. Fully under control.
Slider for a strike. And then sinker probably in. Yep. Doesn't even have to get it in because it has so much drop on it that all he can do is hit a ground ball. See it from the center field because we didn't get a good view of that. I mean, it's just, it doesn't look like it on TV. It really doesn't. And that's what's funny about these metrics sometimes. But this number is so good. So the hitter's always going to hit the top of the ball when you're throwing that number, negative 0.7 vertical break with this kind of velocity, 93, 95. It's just very hard to get under that pitch. So there's a ground out, and here comes a Max Kepler strikeout. Again, he's probably going to be 0-1. It's been 0-1 almost all night. Let's see it. Yep. Lands the backdoor sweeper. Good call by CB. Shaves the corner. Can double up on the sweeper. Misses. I did notice on the broadcast when he does miss, it's typically to the arm side. Typically to the arm side. For what that's worth. He's not missing much. So on a sinker there, which is a weird pitch. And this changeup is negative 6.2.
1-2. Struck him out with a changeup.
It's got to be a kick change. Maybe he just learned a kick change overnight, over week. You know, it's like guys just have like pitches that Hall of Famers used to have. Now they can just learn them like in a week.
1-2. Struck him out with a changeup. Nola,
it's disgusting. You don't know what you're getting at the plate. This is his third career start. Doesn't make any sense.
Lower third of the order, Nick Castellanos, first pitch swinging, fouls off a sweeper, and
except it makes all the sense because we started to figure things out on a much higher level, and the integration of that knowledge is much better now.
And he swings at that sweeper and pops it up in foul ground. This one might be playable for Alonso, and it is.
He's pretty good at catching those pop-ups. All right, now he's going to get Stott on 3 pitches. Says it's looking, so I'm going to guess it's a sinker, front door sinker. Let's see. Sweeper down, gets the call. Good catch by Singer. And now, like, you're throwing so many first pitch strikes, the umpire gets in the habit of calling first pitch strikes as well. And he switches it to the 4. You know, he thinks it's going to drop. It doesn't drop. This one sticks down and away. This is why a down and away 4-seam is just so useful. Bam. Now it's 0-2. Now he's going to go sinker. Wow, 21 inches. If he gets it up and in, it's game over. And he doesn't even have to. He gets it down and in, it's game over. My God, what a pitch. There's no better feeling on the mound than this.
60 shutouts, you know. On the inside corner,
hitter skates out of the way. Ball's all over the plate. Nasty. And now Bader, first pitch out. Not a bad idea. You know, he's doing nothing but throwing first pitch strikes. I know Harrison will try to lay in the weeds for this opportunity. Actually, a pretty good, damn good swing. Man, almost clipped him. Pretty damn good swing. I really, you know, that's a great ambush. Of course, McLean makes a pretty nice play. This is a good ambush by Bader, though. Good bid right here. Cleared the hips out for it. Kind of anticipated it, maybe. And it doesn't quite get there. But good bid right there. So then he's into the 7th. Now he's into the 7th. 4-pitch at bat with Trey Turner.
Trey Turner leads off the 7th. So McLean threw 55 pitches.
Another ball.
It was G back
it's a very rare 1-0 count. Curveball gets the swing. They're expecting him to throw strikes now, so there's a lot of swinging going on all of a sudden. That's a really great place to be as a pitcher. Yep, chases it again, but again, this is a banger. Some's good, more's better. Throw it again. And he barely hits it. Swaggy V, the second time he's done that throw on the run off the right foot. Kind of like that. A couple dudes hanging there. All right. Then there's Schwarber. He's going to start him with the banger. Start him with the curveball. It's at 59 pitches here with 1 out in the 7th. That's absurd. Drops in a paint down and away. Change up off that.
He can spin it
Good
up
metric,
there,
but
and he
definitely just got ahead of that pitch. It happens. He's going to come right back with the curveball off of that miss.
Tries the back
Probably
door.
just missed a hair off the plate. Now sweeper. This is a pitch he likes to go to when he needs to throw a strike.
oh,
And that ball snuck right in there. Right in that little opening. Whoop. You don't want to miss down and in a Schwarber in the zone. I'll tell you that. And then now the sinker. It's the front door sinker attempt. After all those breaking balls, good pitch call.
Ground ball. Handled by
Misses
Beatty.
middle, still gets the ground ball though because exceptional drop. Again, this is unreal. Negative 2.7. That's really, really good. Really, really good. So he gets the ground out. So now 2 outs in the 7th. And then Harper does get a hit here. This was a good at-bat by
that's what he's
Harper.
got.
There's Harper.
This is where I think he kind of started to lose his opportunity to get the shutout. First pitch, forced him up. D-bats him, so he's D-batted 2 guys.
Oh, 1 to
Curveball.
Harper. Bryce takes
Yep,
it
that's
back.
the arm side miss. That's
Harper's fly deep
kind of
to
what
left
I
and
watch
struck
when
out.
he is starting to not have it again. But then it
Flies
comes
that
back
one
with
foul,
another
that
really
one
good
1-2.
challenge heater to Bryce Harper at the top of the zone. Curveball off of that. Makes all the sense in the
1-2.
world. Just
Plays
starts it
off
a hair
the
too
curveball.
low. Yeah, just starts it too low. So Bryce, easy
curveball.
take. He's like, all right, I can throw a better one than that. I'm going to throw it again.
2 to Harper. Fell off that curveball.
We tend to
I mean,
forget
this is in the danger zone location, right on left on a breaking ball, especially to Bryce Harper. But the fact is, this ball breaks so much so late that he's still above it. He's way above this ball
Fell off that curveball.
and not on it at all.
we tend,
They do decide to go back to the sinker.
and you got a face.
I think he was not on the curveball.
Up the middle,
And then he
a base
misses and
hit for
Bryce smacks it up the
Harper.
middle.
Just a
All right, so great hitting. Then JT. And then that at bat started to get a little longer.
Plate. I think that was a cutter. It just didn't cut.
As this at bat went on.
Muto turns out of the way. Ball 1.
Sweeper,
Ball came to the
86.
plate that slowly.
Coming
Everybody
here.
would be able to hit.
So the velo's still there, still holding strong. He's not getting ahead as often all of a sudden, but it's hard to quibble with this guy's performance.
That's
Okay,
outside.
3-0, and then I remember this at bat. He gets bailed out here on the 3-0, and then he goes to work from there with some unfair stuff. So he gets bailed out there by CB.
The second
I'm sure
3-ball count of the
JT
ninth
was
was
thrilled by
played.
that. And then he throws him
And
a
JT
nice
takes
3-1
strike.
sweeper, gets himself to 3-2. And then he throws
3-2
another
from
sweeper,
McLean to Realmuto.
and he pops
Popped
him
it
up
on
weekly.
Infield.
And it's just like,
Who wants it? It's Lindor taking
you
charge.
know, it's just
Side
like
return.
everything was going his way at that point as he gets bailed out on the 3-0 pitch. And that kind of the last chance they had against him. Now in the 8th, he does get, this is interesting here because they have a 6-run lead, but he gets a single to start off the 8th.
And
they stick with him.
Peterson to do that this year. Alec Bohm leads off, gets
And cutter up and in.
McNeil now at second and Brett Beatty at third. And Bohm takes
Forcing
another
middle, so
fastball.
just still going right at guys. I do think he was
Now
probably
it's
thinking if I have a quick inning, I got a shot at my first CG.
Second.
Curveball
By just 2
down.
singles, he's faced just 1 over the minimum. And Bohm just got a
Curveball
piece
down.
of curveball to stay in the
Forcing.
against the Braves. On the ground toward the hole, that'll go through for a base
Pretty
hit.
damn good
Bohm,
pitch,
so
honestly.
Bohm has
But
his
only
second
12
hit of the
vertical
night
breaks,
and
so
Phillies'
that could be the
third.
culprit. Just a
Serious
possibility,
inside
probably
out
not.
right
Probably just a
there.
good swing by Bohm.
On a pitch that was coming
But
in
you
on
know,
his
if you're a
hands.
pitcher breaking it down, you might be like, damn, how come? Where's my last 2-3 inches of vertical break? That's something guys would say after looking at this after their outing. All right, and then he gives up another hit to Kepler.
Rounded into a double play and struck
First
out.
pitch curve ball.
Playing behind Bohm.
Now he's not getting ahead as much. So yeah, I mean, he's been electric. But it just shows you how hard it is to maintain it for 27 outs.
Swing and a miss at a high cutter.
The up away cutter miss.
1 ball.
A lot of people swing through this pitch.
1-1.
Change up.
This is away
Just
with
arms a
the
little
changeup.
late now.
Sports news.
This cutter, this makes this a dangerous
on the
pitch.
Sports Night. Pulled on the
Yeah.
ground. That's through the hole. A base
Cutter
hit.
down in. That had all the ingredients of a dangerous
First to
pitch.
third.
He hasn't really been locating
Phillies
He had to throw a strike. I don't like cutter right on left when you have to throw a strike with it because you're more likely to leave it. If you pull it down a little bit, it goes right into this area. And, you know, Kepler pulled this ball at 107 on the ground, so I feel like that proves my point a little bit there. So first and second, no outs, but he goes ahead and gets 3 outs in a row. So let's watch how he concludes this outing with a flurry. Stays breaking ball with Castellanos. No need to go fastball until you get that tingle. Oh, sweeper again. Got to throw it again. Yeah. This one's disgusting, I guess. Let's see where he ends up. I mean, on the corner. That pitch was unbelievable. All right, so switch up the break. Throw a curveball, a little more downward break. Leaves it in. Yep. Now they're thinking fastball. Still don't love fastball in here. Still hits it. That's a great pitch. Still hits it. Now sweeper.
Back to the sweeper.
Just great pitching this whole game to Castellanos. Not much Nick could do in this matchup with some of the pitches that McLean has executed. Soto fires the ball home. Nobody scores. Okay, and then we got Stott. So first and third, 1 out. They're sticking with him. 91 pitches in, sinker away ball, and then change up. They're looking for a double play ball here. Somehow pops him up on the -2.6 first break changeup. Nimmo coming on. The Phillies opt not to send Bohm. So the run does not score, and then he's got a chance to get out of it scoreless. He faces Bader. Crowd's on their feet. They're feeling it for this kid. Sweeper, strike. It's a dandy. Now remember, Bader almost ambushed him with the sinker before, so he's probably going to stick soft. Yep, sweeper again. Dribbler, pitcher's all over it. Guy fields his position too. Perfect throw to Pete. 8 shutout innings. Nola McLean. 3rd career start. He's been better than advertised since he's been up. An absolute blessing for the Mets. I'm not sure where they'd be without him right now. They're making me feel a lot more optimistic about their chances than I was a few days ago, certainly. So, really cool, though. Really cool to have this guy, and now Tong on Friday, who I'm definitely juiced for. All right, so that's that. I have a little chatter in the chat. Do all guys that have crazy spin rates on curveballs have supination bias? Probably not all, but definitely most. Definitely most. Just the ability to hold onto the ball longer. Now, like Devin Williams is in the opposite direction. He's pronation bias. And he can hold on to that ball a long time in pronation, and his ball spins just as much as like a great curveball would spin or slider would spin. Seems like he made the whole staff better. Maybe. We'll see. These other guys are really good pitchers in their own right as well. So we'll see. But, I mean, geez, this kid has come out running. You know, come out of the gate running. So, damn impressive. Spike can also be used to change the axis of the pitch, changing the movement profile. I know it's a thing for pronators to use a spike. I see he's using one on the sweeper and the curveball as well. Everybody has different feel with spike versus no spike. There are definitely some advantages, disadvantages, as Mitch speaks to in the chat. I personally never felt that comfortable with the spike on the breaking ball. I don't know. I could do it a little bit, but I liked to kind of like vary the pressure on the pointer finger a little bit when I was throwing different breaking balls, and also sometimes use it as a guide. But, you know, it's a personal preference thing. Everybody's going to do it a little bit differently. And then for Nolan, it's also likely a main contributor that he has 3,100 RPMs on his breaking balls. Yeah, although it's interesting, like Seth Lugo, he's probably the high spin guy that I played with. I can probably speak to a few of these guys on curveballs in particular. Let's go to the leaderboard. Let's go to the leaderboard. This is not it. We need... Oh, here we go. active spin, then I think you can actually probably... there's another way. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Pitch movement. Nope. Ooh, that's a good nugget. High spin rates are also tied to the steepness of a pitcher's hand path through the release. I think that refers to you want to put, in order to impart spin onto a ball, you have there's a relative amount of tangential contact you want to have with the ball from your fingertips. So there's definitely an element of the angle of it being a big deal, being a really big deal. Here we go. Average spin. Thank you, Ottavino. Average spin update. Curveball. Okay, so Phil Maton, I believe, does use a baby spike. Charlie Morton is a spike, full spike. Savali is a full spike. This is the leaderboard for curveballs. So far, spike is very prevalent. Lugo is not a spike. Lugo holds the ball almost in full supination. Like the palm is to you, and then he kind of like snaps it out like that with an extra funk to it. He never used the sticky, anything. Like just natural spin talent in every which way. Incredible. Jax, I think, might be a spiker. So I would say of these guys, the majority are spikers. McCullers down there is a famous one. So it looks like the spike might be, great call, the spike might be very common amongst the highest spin rate curveball guys. Certainly Garrett Richards was a guy I played with who used to be called the Spin Lord. He had the most insane curveball and cutter at one point and slider, and he used to spike it as well, I believe. But really, he was just very middle finger dominant. Like, he could just get over it. All right. We did have a comment here about something that's happening in a game. What do we got? Toronto just scored 3 in the 8th to take a 1-run lead into the 9th. That's big in the AL East. It's very big in the AL East right now. Dodgers are now winning in their game versus the Reds. It's good for the Mets. Good for the Dodgers, obviously. Yeah, so Toronto ended up winning that game. All right, we can pop over there for a sec. They came back with 3 in the 8th. That's the word? Toronto and Minnesota, I believe. Minnesota's kind of out of relievers, so this is going to happen sometimes. Oh, man, maybe it was Tonkin. I hope not. I like Tonkin. Well, it started with Cabrera, Genesis Cabrera. Ty France homer. Oh, wait. Yeah, Ty France is on the Blue Jays. That's right. He was on the Twins this year. Genesis Cabrera was on the Mets. He used to be on the Blue Jays. Got a little bit of a 3-card Monte of players going on in this scenario. Splitter, and then another splitter, and he's gonna homer on this. And I read somewhere that Ty France was like done selling out for homers, but gets the crap out of this one. 105.5 at 28, so that gets them 1 run. And then Kirk is gonna get a hit. Kirk's such a good player. So DeRosa did a breakdown of Kirk on MLB Central. So that popped up on my YouTube. I'll probably watch that at some point. Thought about looking at Kirk a while back. And then Tonk. So a Springer walk, a 5-pitch walk. Let's see what the 5th pitch was. 3-1 count. So this is tying run at first. This is in. Okay. And then Addison Barger, double. Gets him on a slider. 2-1 slider. So slider to get back in the count here. Right down the middle. Right on time. Medium speed pitch down the middle. They don't work in the big leagues. 110.3 miles an hour. Lucky he wasn't a homer, but not lucky because it didn't matter. Double's what it took. That was 2 runs. He ends up striking out So that was the big hit. Addison Barger double. We can watch the whole at bat because this is the big at bat of the game.
Fighting it the last couple of
Tonkin.
weeks. Can he come
He's
out
got a
of it
low
right
slot, slings it, hides the ball
Outside,
well.
ball one.
When he's right, he's got a little more velo than this, but this is kind of where he is
Against
mostly.
Barger.
92-ish.
Not close.
So
Ball
slings
two.
2 four seams, misses with both of them. He's going to get a swinging strike on the slider. So Barger was still on the heater. And then he's fully fooled on the slider there. And then at this moment, when he's adjusting his little helmet here, he's like, I understand it now. If you throw me another slider, I'm going to whack that thing. And here it comes. He just misses also in a bad spot.
Ripped to
Again,
right
medium
center
speed,
field.
middle down.
Off the wall.
Don't throw it there. And then
Kirk is in to
Springer is
score.
hightailing this thing
Springer's rounding third, and he'll
around from
score.
first. Oh, he is juiced. I love when he plays with that type of energy. Okay, let's watch Springer run. He's right here. Let's see how see the anticipation and the hunger to score this run. Oh, he's gone. He's thinking about it. He's coming. Full dive, full roar. Kind of electric play. And then did Hoffman shut it down? Did Hoffman come in? They're still using him? Still using him. Line out, strike out, double. What's the double? This is 2 outs in the ninth double. First pitch sinker. Even Hoffman's throwing the sinker now.
Lines this one to left, a fair ball.
Okay, first pitch double. Ball's whacked, and then he's going to get Brooks Lee to end the game. See how he goes about it. Splitter. Down, pulled. He's going to double up and correct it.
And a
Nice
swing
pitch,
and a
Brooks Lee.
miss.
Very
Ball
flat
and a
swing.
strike.
I think he probably likes the ball up.
He sets
Splitter again.
and deals.
Pulls it a little bit.
Again,
Quadruple splitters, so 4 splitters in a row. Interesting. High target for the fake out. This time he locates it beautifully down and away. Vlad backhand flip to Hoffman. Jays win it. Okay, good game there. Blue Jays needed that. They win. Red Sox also won with a late comeback. If I remember correctly tonight, Rafaela was the hero. Yeah, you're watching this Jays game. Heck of a game. Jays have been really, they just keep winning. Just keep winning. That's what it takes. Thanks for the tip, Mike. Anybody have a tip on another game? I guess we could watch. I want to watch the Rafaela. I want to watch the Red Sox come back. I did not see that. I did watch Chapman pitch the ninth. He punches the side. He's otherworldly right now. So it was Red Sox and Orioles. It was Keegan Aiken in the ninth. And here it is. Jaron Duran is the first batter. My bad. Back to the main screen. All right, here we go.
Just as pretty
Jaron
as
Duran.
McDonald's high 8 footage from 21-31.
Strike one. Aiken. All right, little primer on Aiken. Little short guy with a low release. Huge vert on his ball. So his ball plays extremely sneaky and uphill. Also, he's got kind of like a delivery that doesn't really scream hard thrower,
Just as pretty as Ben McDonald's high
but it
8
is.
footage
Gets in there nice. The fastball gets on you. It's actually kind of a special fastball. So I wanted to point that out as this at-bat begins. So
Just
Duran
as
takes the
pretty as
first
Ben
pitch.
McDonald's high
94.8
eight
heater
footage.
first strike. Now he's going to come back with the heater
Start
again.
the ninth inning against Jaron Duran, who's in an 0-2 count.
Beats him with it. Up in. Again. It's a great heater. This one has 19 vert on it, I believe. So it's almost to the top of the scale. And he's well over the barrel of Duran. So he's going to triple up. Let's see where the pitch is, whether it's a bad pitch or whether it's a great adjustment.
Fly out twice to left. 0-2. Little ground ball will get through the left
think
side.
it's a little bit of both.
Sox
Not
have
a
the lead
horrible
off
pitch,
man on, and it is
Not a great pitch.
a
And what would
speedy
determine
leadoff
a good pitch or a bad pitch for me in this situation with this pitch call is strictly the height of the pitch. For me, anything, this is the very bare minimum of height, but obviously not high enough because now Duran's a little more direct to this ball and he's able to just put it in play. And because of the defensive positioning, he's able to squeak a hit through. But ideally, you would want to throw this pitch at least this high and really as high as this. Like, you're 0-2 count, got to make him swing at a bad pitch. But Duran, will give him credit for making a swing adjustment there a little bit as well.
Twice
Putting
to
the ball in
left,
play,
0-2.
using his legs. and getting on base. So that brings up Sadon, the hero from tonight. 4-pitch at bat. Let's see it. Nope, 4. There was 4, not 4 pitches. There was 4 clips because the first one's going to be a pickoff.
The steal today is at first, the tying run.
No, nothing there. Oh, he's going to start him with a changeup. This is his other pitch. Sells the changeup pretty good. Oh, now we got a little connectivity issue on the iPad. Come on.
On him here. He's worried about Durant at first base. A lot of times you get worried at first base, it affects you.
Actually a strike, but not where he wanted to throw it. So ball 1. Now he's going to come back with the heater. If you're the hitter here with facing Aiken, I think you still just got to be on the heater all day on the heater. Heater up, try to beat it to the spot. Hopefully he misses middle, you know, like that. But Rafaela was taking all the way, so that brings up the next pitch. It's actually going to be a changeup that he gets clipped on. Interesting. So he takes the fastball, little suspiciously, and now he's going to be all over this changeup.
Split Duran and Rafaela. This combination trying to make up for it at the plate. And Rafaela,
I mean, really bad location on the changeup.
Carlson
up middle.
2-run home run.
But definitely all over it. 102-1 at 34. Crochet loves it. All the boys love it. He's got ice in his veins, apparently. Somebody stop this guy. But yeah, high changeup. I mean, you know. He'll tell you. He didn't mean to throw it there. I've been there. Hold on, let's do it again. If we can get the videos to work. Hopefully we get some action on the internet. Well, this is a bummer, but we did see the homer. It was a high changeup, really bad pitch. And then that brought in Chapman, and he eviscerated the side. Doesn't even have to throw as hard anymore. He was only 98, 99 tonight, for what it's worth. Ooh, this is a good question in the chat from Mitch.
Next to Dylan Beavers.
Let's just see if we can get any video here. Yep, first he just destroys Kowser with a slider, who I don't know what he thought, but he definitely swung. And then this was actually a great at-bat with Basayo, but he ends up just sticking a fastball to freeze him on it after, like, he kind of got him off the fastball. And I hope that the clip will play, because it shows a lot more fun when the clips play. Yep, just throws in, steals his soul with the stare down, the patented Chapman stare down. And then this was an insane at-bat. Kobe Mayo, same deal here. He just battle. I think at one point he fouled off like 7 pitches in a row. There was actually a mound visit after pitch 11, and then they stuck with the fastball, and I think maybe Mayo thought splitter or something else was coming. Chappie sticks with the heater, and he ends up with 3 souls in this game. If the clip will play, we've seen strikeout. Boom, 99 in, soul taken. I believe he's now 41 consecutive batters without allowing a hit. That's kind of a ridiculous streak. He's threatening to go under 1 ERA for the season. So they win, Blue Jays win, Yankees win. All 3 teams win in the AL East. All right, got a question here. Would you ever position your infielders yourself, since you called a lot of your own pitches, or would you rely on the game plan created by infielder placement? I wouldn't necessarily place them somewhere game to game. That's a starter thing. Like, they would go over it on an individual basis and say, hey, this is how I'm thinking of attacking. Scherzer was a big driver of this in the Mets clubhouse. He would often, go through very long, game planning sessions about infielder placement while he was pitching and how he wanted to pitch guys. Mine were more like just generalities, things you notice over time. I like to have my second baseman, when I'm facing a righty, pinched over a little more in the 4 hole with 2 strikes, because I was going to throw a lot of backdoor fastballs because of that, there was a lot of late barrel ground ball action. I wanted that hole covered a little more to not allow some cheap hits. I always felt like those were the cheapest hits, like when I had a guy beat, but he would somehow survive it. So that was one thing. Another thing I always noticed is I needed my third baseman to be very active because I was going to get a lot of rollovers on sliders and sinkers in, choppers to third. So a lot of times a weak ground ball towards third was fairly common. Fly ball wise, I would be victimized a lot with a weak spinning fly ball over the second baseman into no man's land in right field between the second baseman and the right fielder. So things like that I would try to make people aware of, my guys behind me and the coaching staff, and just, understand to hedge my bets. And there was times, actually, this is an interesting tidbit, when I was with the Red Sox, I can remember times where this was with the shift. With 2 strikes, like the sheet would say to move Devers all the way over to the right side of the infield. Like, remember when they used to do that, bring the third baseman all the way over to the right side of the infield? And a lot of times Alex, the manager, Alex Cora, would look at me and kind of give me should I move him or should I not move him? Sometimes I would tell him not to move because I felt like moving him kind of took a pitch away from me. And that year I had a really good 4-seam fastball kind of out of nowhere, 2021. So a lot of times versus a lefty, I was pitching late in games for the Red Sox that year. And I was it was tough matchups for me all year. I was facing lefties with the game on the line, like the best lefties. And so sometimes I would try to gas them up with 2 strikes with fastballs, and I'd be worried about that protect swing, ground ball to third, and there'd be nobody there. And I felt like if I moved them, they could almost eliminate that pitch, and they could understand that I was trying to get them to hit a more pull side ground ball, contact-wise, if I wasn't going to get the strikeouts. So that's a long-winded way to say that, yes, these are all things that are considered, but I think certain pitchers, especially the starters, take a lot more control over that. I know Zach Greinke was known for doing that every single game, and being probably the best game planner there ever was in a lot of ways. Okay, we have another question here. This is also about this same topic. Before I jump into John's question, Scott's follow-up. I know they have the data, but it really sticks out when the traditional placement would have made the play. Yes. And this was the original argument, the old-time players, my older, teammates, the guys in the age group right above me. It would be very frustrating to give up a hit on a weak ground ball, to the shortstop side, because you had a guy pinched up the middle, and then you're trying to take away a hard hit ball. And a lot of guys would say, well, you're assuming I'm giving up hard contact, and I don't like that, and I'd rather make the weak contact plays every time. And if a guy hits the ball hard off me, then congratulations to them. And I did think in certain circumstances, the shifting was a little bit overblown in the early days. It was very hitter driven and not as much of a balance between what the pitcher gives up typically and what the hitter does typically. That wasn't baked in as well. Additionally, there's other factors out there as well. And just lost my train of thought here for a second, but I had a good point about this. Oh, and additionally, I could think of a guy like Zach Britton, who almost always got a ground ball, but it was kind of random where it would go, except he knew he had to play the third baseman a little bit more in for the dribblers. Machado made a lot of those plays for him in Baltimore, so he liked that, and he would have our third baseman cheat in, whether it was Urshela or whoever at the time. But beyond that, I used to say you shouldn't shift with Zach at all. You should play everywhere because you don't know where the ball's going to go. You just know it's going to be weak. And you would rather get beat with hard contact up the middle than a weak contact, somewhere else, because the ball's going to be on the ground. But he's the ultimate test dummy for the ground ball defensive placement revolution, because then it's you're getting 80% ground balls. So a lot of people had different ideas about how to attack that. Can we even commit to doing a 5-man infield, just in a normal situation, not even in a desperation situation, just leading off an inning? Versus a guy with a high ground ball rate as a hitter. So you just know you're getting a ground ball. You're not getting a fly ball. You can cover more infield. Teams never had the balls to do it, but I know that idea was kicked around, at least by the Yankees when I was there. A lot of people thought that would be cool to try. But anyway, yeah, the traditional stuff. It bothers me at times too, because I used to get a lot of weird ground balls. But ultimately, what would bug me the most is that sometimes there wasn't common sense with it. Like the algorithm would spit out some stuff. Like I remember I gave up a hit to Christian Yelich once, like in the 4-hole on a cutter, and actually the ball went up the middle. They had McNeil pulled over in the 4-hole, and I remember telling the analytics guy when I came out of the game, like, I don't understand that. He always stays inside the ball and he shoots it up the middle. That's always been his swing. Like, what about my pitching versus him is predicting the ball to go pull side? Because I'm trying to stop him from pulling the ball, because that's partially where his power is. I want to keep him to the middle part of the field. Yes, he has oppo power as well, but his pull side, if he hits the ball hard off me pull side, it's probably extra bases. So I'm trying to keep him pushed up the middle, jammed, and he's fighting against that as well, because that's his nature of his swing. And they were like, well, this is the projected data. And I'm like, but let's go look at the real data, like where the balls actually have gone off Yelich's bat versus pitches like this. And then we go look at it, and it didn't match up with the projected data. And I used to just be frustrated. Like, at what point does the reality not affect this fantasy, land where you're pretending that the ball should go here because of a bunch of other factors, instead of just watching like, hey, actually he doesn't really hit it there that often. So I don't know. We stopped going from evaluating at one point, reacting to the evaluations, to then like always trying to like project what's coming next all the time. And I think some of those algorithms, are still incomplete. I mean, I'm sure they're getting better and better every day, but they're still incomplete, and the game's still kind of random at the end of the day in a lot of ways as well. Okay. All right, one more question here. It's about gaining velocity throughout my career. So I can't say I never really chased velocity, because I kind of did, much more so when I was younger. I knew that was the big difference maker for me. And the first time I ever really chased it, because growing up, my dad would always say, you just got to do it incrementally, like 3 or 4 or 5 miles an hour a year. And then you just put enough years of work in, and you look up one day and you're throwing 90. And like 90s was like that first benchmark when I was young. And then obviously, there's benchmarks above that, but that was like the first one. But the first time I chased velocity was actually going into my junior year of college, because sophomore year at Northeastern, I won pitcher of the year in the conference, America East, but I probably threw 92, touched 94. I was probably 92, and then I went to the Cape and had a good summer, but I was throwing 92. And at that point, I was interviewing advisors at the time who were really agents, and most of them were telling me that I was projected to go like 3rd to 5th round. But I shoved. I was one of the better pitchers results-wise in the Cape, and I knew I was a good pitcher, had good breaking balls. I knew velocity wasn't really my game anyway. But then I knew that in order to get drafted higher than that, to set my sights higher, I needed to throw harder. So the first thing I did was weight room related. Like, I got a lot stronger and more explosive in my lower half. I used to use my legs a little bit differently at that point than I did later in my career, but it did immediately pay dividends. Came out the next year more 93, 96 probably. And then I continued to build off that in minor leagues. Just attacked it with a strength, basically from a strength perspective. I'm a slow mover, but I'm a big, strong guy. And so I would lean into that type of training for the most part. And then as I got older, the mechanics become more efficient. You figure out better ways to do things, more simple ways to do things. And sometimes you can catch lightning in a bottle mechanically, which I did a few times in my career. But ultimately it's hard, because it's just a thing. Like, you throw so much, you're going to have ebbs and flows. You're going to age. You're going to fight the aging process. I could talk about this topic literally forever, but the bottom line is each player goes through their own journey. I do think it's important to recognize that pitching is a skill sport, and velocity helps. It gives you more margin for error. But in some cases, having too much too soon warps your ability to train your other skills. I would not want to be 16 years old and throw 100 miles an hour. It would warp my ability to learn how to pitch. I think gives you a false sense of who you are as a pitcher, but also it's inherently more dangerous, and also just makes the game so much easier at that level, and that's not what you need. If you're an elite talent, you need to be challenged. You need to overcome challenges constantly, because that's what this game demands, and that's what it's about ultimately, is continuing to face challenges and problem solve them and get better. And it's just hard when you don't learn that lesson maybe consistently enough early enough to build up that callus of that cycle. So I guess that's a long-winded way to say that. I could talk about that forever. But that's my take on it. Trevor May is trying to throw 100 again, which is cool. Yeah, I mean, it's not for me. Good for him. He did throw 100. I never got there. 99.8 is the PR. 2014 versus the Diamondbacks. Very close, but no cigar. And then my elbow let go. And then after that, I probably never threw another ball 99 again. Probably a couple of 98 sixes, 98 sevens. That was about it. Yes, I was 93, 95 in 2006 with a soft lead leg block too. There was always more in the tank with left knee optimization. Yes, and the Cardinals, even though they didn't know about left knee, about lead leg blocking and all that at that time. They did try to like straighten my stride out, keep me more linear, actually shorten my stride a little bit for better lower half timing. And for a brief moment there, I did throw really hard, but then I hurt my shoulder hitting in AA. Like I was up to 97, 98, but then I hurt my shoulder in AA. But then I also think that that's when my elbow started to, like every time I would push my velo up higher and higher, there's a consequence to that. Everything is a little more violent, and I just felt like it's not always needed. When I was at my absolute best in the game, I probably threw 93, 94. You look at 2018, 2019, 93, 94 could access a little bit harder, but I could stay healthy doing that. And the lead leg stuff, like something tells me that the lead leg block might not be very healthy. Like a really effective lead leg block might not be very easy to stay healthy with. That might be a generalization, and it probably is, but I don't know. I think there's something to be said for having a little bit of give and not squeezing every last mile an hour out of your fingertips every single pitch over decades. And I saw that there's actually a 16U pitcher in perfect game topping 9900, Striker Pence, Hunter Pence's nephew, I believe. And look, he's a beast. I wish him well. I just wouldn't want to go that route. I wouldn't want to be that player personally. I'd rather Paul Skeens it. I'd rather be the late bloomer who had it all in him, but had to tap in there. Zach Wheeler, Jacob deGrom. I don't know. You'd rather be the best when you're 22, 23, all the way through your 30s than you want to be at 16. It just doesn't make, it just does, there's no award yet, they're not paying you yet. And you're just on your journey, but you're not really, you're not at the finish line yet. You're very far from it, in fact. All right. I think that's probably it. I'm cooked. Yeah, Hunter Pence's nephew. That's right. I'm cooked. Main screen. Let's just get a quick score update here. Geez, Texas has 20 runs. Dodgers 4-1. So Shohei obviously pitching well, or pitched well. Box score. 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. Let's see how hard he was throwing. Because I'm a sucker for it too. Of course, I want to know. So 23 curveballs. Has he ever thrown 23 curveballs in a start? That's crazy. And then another 16 sweepers. So Nolan McLean, is he inspired by our Nolan McLean? And then 4 seam up to 100, average 98. So cheesy. Splitters, bringing those back in. He hasn't been throwing those much. Cutters, sliders, and sinkers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitch pitcher from a guy who also hits. This guy's a beast. Vertical break. Looks like it was a little bit all over. All his movements were a little bit all over the place tonight, especially on the splitter, but that's to be expected. It's kind of a random pitch. Whiffs. 4 on the curveball, 5 on the sweeper, so spin monster. What's the spin rate on these pitches? High, but not crazy. All right. That game's going on, so I don't think I can watch it. All right, we got another quick thing in the chat, and then I'm going to say goodnight. We'll look at the probables for tomorrow before I say goodnight. Okay. High school pitchers throwing 100 aren't good demographic to have success. Agreed. Just a weird, tough situation to player develop. Oh, thanks, Billy. I like the green jacket on me too. It's very comfortable. And then Cam Schiller throws 100 like it's nothing. Well, yeah, if you look at it, he's a gigantic guy, but again, he has a little bit of that shorter stride they were trying to teach me with elite lower leg timing, great lead leg block now, and he rotates really, really well. And he's young, and his tissues are springy as shit when you're young, so he's throwing hard. And then there's a question here about DeGrom. DeGrom doesn't work out really. DeGrom just runs. Really, he's like just a great athlete, like freak athlete. He was a shortstop in college. If he had been a pitcher only from the beginning, he might have been like a number 1 pick in the draft because, you know, he's got extra long arms. He's shredded, but also like has enough muscle on him, and the ball just whips out of his hand effortlessly. Plays a lot of catch, does like wakeboarding and stuff like that in the off season or something like that. But you know, Central Florida outdoorsy guy, just a great athlete at anything he does, and a great competitor, and an innate ability to control his body in space. So that's Jake, but he's not does not really work out. So everybody goes about it differently in that regard. Yankees beat the Nationals, and Volpe was the only player with no hit. Okay, well, Yankees won. That's what I took from that. All right, let's go look at the main screen probables for tomorrow, even though these games aren't over. It's fine. Crochet versus Povich. So Crochet, now the window is open. Skubal has cracked the door open. Even though he threw great the other day, give up 6 runs, so the door's cracked. Freeland and Alexander, Rockies at Houston. Krismat and Quintana, Diamondbacks at Brewers. Axcraft and Michaelis, Pirates at Cardinals. Imanaga versus Webbs. This is a fun matchup. Cubs at Giants. Quantrill and Nola, Braves at Phillies. So Phillies looking to get back up off the mat. They just took it on the chin versus the Mets. Now they got the Braves, who kind of stink right now. So maybe they can get back in the winning. They can get back in the winning side of things here. And then the Mets have the Marlins. So you know, Marlins are a little feisty, though. So we'll see how this series goes. Holmes on the mound for the Mets tomorrow. Yankees at White Sox, as they have to take advantage of this part of their schedule. They did against the Nationals. They need to keep the hammer down against the Sox if they're going to have a shot at the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. So that's it. All right, it's late. It is 10:52. I'm tired. I'm cooked. Appreciate everybody that hung with me. All right, Max lifts in the weight room. I mean, shoot, I don't even know. It's been so long. Deadlift, I definitely got over 500 at some point. I was never much of a bencher. I have no chest. I've got like a negative chest. And my arms are super long. I think maybe I could do 75-pound dumbbells at one point, but later in my life, I would never really go over 55. Max lifts in the squats. I stopped squatting a long time ago, but I used to be pretty strong with the legs at one point. But what that number would be, I don't know, high 300s, but this was years ago. Anyway, all right. Peace. Have a good one.